Welcome to the Accomplished Brain podcast, where we share our passion, knowledge, and experience about the brain and health.
Real quick, Andrew, before we wrap up, one more thing I wanted to kind of put out there is, obviously nowadays there's a lot of talk with mental health and all that stuff, and I'm sure we're going to cover some of those topics in a later date. But in regards to neuroplasticity and something like PTSD, right? So they say for someone who's suffering from post-traumatic stress disorder, there's a trigger, right? Something comes up in their life and all of a sudden that sets them off. So can you just kind of go through that system really quickly and just talk about from a rehabilitation standpoint, how we're going to take them from that trigger sets them off to kind of powering down the power of the trigger?
Yeah. So I want to talk. I'm gonna bring something up. If it's okay, I'm gonna bring two things up from the two pictures up from the one from our course, and another I want to bring up this picture from the from a neurological book, if that's okay with you.
Sure.
So this is going to be really cool. I think they'll really enjoy this, because we're also going to do on mechanism based therapies. That's how we kind of look at it, and we're going to do mechanism versus evidence based, which the mechanism, which we're going to have a whole topic on mechanism. We're going to share different mechanisms, and basically out of the outpost of the mechanism becomes the evidence. And we're going to go into a whole podcast about this, but this is going to be, they're going to love this, because I'm going to show this picture. This is a really snapshot of the picture that I'm going to show. That is going to be tremendous. Let me see. I got it right here. Yeah. 18. Okay. Yep. I got it right here. This is going to be tremendous, this picture. Here we go. Okay. So watch this picture here, and then we're going to go back into our course as well. So we're going to show this picture. Oh, I got my course here. This is great. Okay. So watch this. So if you can look at this picture, you have the limbic system, which is the emotional brain, right? If you take the frontal lobe, and the inside of the frontal lobe, the frontal and the temporal lobe, the inside is where your limbic system, that's your emotional brain. A big part of this emotional brain, especially with the PTSD that gets activated, is an area called your amygdala, right? And that's an area, you could say Amygdala, but I mean, it's really pronounced the amygdala. So what happens is the amygdala gets activated with a lot of times with people with fear, right? So I wanted to share that, and that obviously has a bidirectional control over the limbic system, the emotional part of the brain. Well, key to therapy is there's a couple of things I want to go back to. So let me go back to the front. Let me go back to my course, and I want to show a couple of things in our course, okay? Because this is really some cool stuff. No, share screen. Let me go into our course. Hold on one sec, all right?
While you're bringing that up, Andrew, you're bringing up the amygdala, and obviously in that picture too, it also shows the connection to the hippocampus, which is
where the memory centers are.
Exactly. So,
right.
A trigger is something that's going to set off, right, a prior memory.
Right. So watch this. So what we do, and this is why we're mechanism based. Okay, this is really cool. So let me bring this up. Concepts, course. Okay, so we'll bring this up. Go back to our course. So go back to our course, and I want to bring up this neuraxis here in our course. Okay. So let's go back into, okay. So let's go back to this picture. So this is a snapshot of the brain and nervous system. So if you see the frontal lobe, like it's right up there, that frontal lobe, and inside of that is the limbic system. The frontal lobes help dramatically. The stronger your frontal lobes are, they help to keep the limbic system from over firing and escaping. So just think about this. When I have PTSD and I have this emotional brain, the frontal lobes are firing abnormally. They can't keep the limbic system, the amygdala. So what happens is there's another area of the limbic system called the anterior cingulate, which can get activated with eye movements. So that eye movement called a tracking, so we could use a smell, or we could use a tracking exercise, or a saccade, a still target, which we'll talk about that later on, different types of eye movements. But that tracking movement can activate the temporal lobe, the occipital lobe, but it can also communicate with the frontal lobe. And the more we can get that, and also that tracking can activate, because it's eye movements, can activate the anterior cingulate, which can all help calm that amygdala and limbic system down, as well as using different types of smells. So we can use eye movements, we could use vestibular, we could use smells, or we could use breathing exercises, meditation, all of that combined, and we could do it and again, what we're doing, Jeff and I, isn't something that the exercises isn't something that people haven't seen before, but it's figuring out the customization, the specific exercise, and the specifics on the exercise, how many reps, sets, colors, if you're using eye movements, what angle that you're going to put the eyes at, where you're going to start the position, the end position, all that can matter. Do you put a background, what type of background, what color background? All those specificities are very, very important to the customization. And the customization, we could figure out that's the unique thing, that specific customization for that client, put that right on their phone, and we can help dramatically help those people with PTSD.